There are two kinds of people in this world: those who believe in road legends and those who simply haven't driven a lonely highway at night. Back in the late 90s, I belonged to the second group. I didn't believe in ghosts wandering along the roadside, or phantom hitchhikers, or strange warnings supposedly sent by the road itself. What I believed in was the suspension of my old car, a full tank of gas, and my own attention behind the wheel. That belief lasted until one night when a remote highway erased the line between the real and the impossible and taught me a lesson far scarier than any robbery. November 1999. I was driving back from a long trip after delivering a shipment of hard-to-find auto parts to a remote northern town. The money from the deal was hidden in my car, some inside the door panels, some inside the spare tire. In those days, we called trips like that business runs, but in truth, every mile was a gamble with luck. The highway itself wasn't really a road. It was a test, hundreds and hundreds of miles of wilderness, where asphalt appeared only in short, deceptive stretches. Most of the time, the road was nothing but broken dirt, which after rain turned into sticky mud capable of swallowing even heavy trucks. I left the town at sunrise, hoping to cross the worst part before nightfall. I didn't make it. Twice my car sank deep into ruts. Twice I had to dig myself out. By the time darkness came, I finally reached a patch of damaged asphalt. There had been no gas stations, no houses, no people, for hundreds of miles. The 20 liters of gasoline left in my spare can didn't smell like freedom anymore. They smelled like fear. Night fell completely. Outside the car was a cold so deep it felt almost cosmic. And the silence, not peaceful silence, but heavy, crushing silence. The kind where it feels like you've been dropped into a soundproof chamber at the bottom of an endless well. My headlights carved out a narrow tunnel in the darkness. Broken pavement, crooked mile markers, and an endless wall of thin northern forest pressing in from both sides of the road. By that point, I had been driving for more than 15 hours. My body felt numb, like it was no longer mine, just an extension of the steering wheel. My eyelids were getting heavy. Every so often I stopped the car, stepped outside, breathed the freezing air, stretched my legs. But the moment I got back into the warm cabin, the steady rhythm of the road started pulling me towards sleep again. So I cracked the window open. A stream of icy air rushed inside, smelling of pine trees and frozen earth. To stay awake, I started yelling, singing dirty songs, reciting old poems, sometimes just howling at the darkness. If anyone had seen me, they probably would have thought I was losing my mind. But it worked. Fear kept the adrenaline pumping. Fear of falling asleep. Fear of stopping in the middle of nowhere. Fear that someone might step out of the darkness with a gun. The speedometer showed about 50 miles per hour. On that road, that was practically suicidal. Waves in the pavement could throw the car into a ditch. One deep pothole could destroy the suspension. But driving slower meant spending even more time in that frozen nightmare. Then, on a long, straight stretch of road, I noticed something. At first, only in the rearview mirror. A dense patch of darkness on the road behind me. My first thought was simple. A car with its headlights off. Sometimes criminals did that. They would approach from behind in total darkness, forcing the victim to panic and swerve off the road. I tensed, but the shadow wasn't moving like a car. It was catching up too fast, too smoothly, as if it were being pulled forward by an invisible cable. And then I realized it wasn't a car. I couldn't take my eyes off the mirror. In the dim red glow of my tail lights, the shadow began to take shape, tall, two-legged. It was already only a few yards behind the car, running along the edge of the road. A person. The thought was so absurd my blood seemed to freeze. Who would run here, at night, in this cold, in the middle of nowhere? But the shadow made one final burst of speed, pulled alongside the car, and suddenly stepped into the beam of my headlights. It was a man, tall, wearing a dirty padded jacket and a worn winter hat, and he was running. But the speed was impossible. His legs were moving so fast they blurred together. He wasn't just running. He was moving as fast as the car itself. Within seconds he passed me. And then he turned his head. Suddenly, his neck twisted at an unnatural angle. My headlights lit up a pale face. Hollow eyes sunk deep in shadow. He looked straight at me, then raised his hand and wagged a finger, like someone warning a reckless driver. Slow down. My mind snapped. My foot lifted off the gas by itself. I stared at the figure ahead of me as it disappeared into the darkness. Then the car engine coughed. I shifted down automatically and entered the same curve where the running man had vanished. I came out of the turn and slammed the brakes. Right across the narrow lane lay a massive wooden spool of heavy electrical cable. If I had kept my speed, I would have crashed into it at full force. I dragged the thing off the road and kept driving. Only a couple of miles later did a terrifying thought hit me. If that man ran ahead of me, how did he see the spool first? Why did he wag his finger? So I would slow down. I made it home that night running on pure adrenaline. Later, I told the story in a garage, laughing it off. An old truck driver everyone called Grandpa listened quietly. Then he said, "That wasn't a hallucination. Old roads sometimes do that. When enough blood has soaked into the asphalt, strange things happen. Sometimes the road warns you. If you see a man running, a dog, something strange, hit the brakes. It might be your last chance." Back then I didn't believe him, but now I know one thing. If you ever see a man running faster than your car along an empty highway at night, don't think, just brake, because the road might be warning you.